If you're in marketing, chances are you've heard a lot of advice, some of it great and some not so much. Today we're breaking down 20 of the biggest marketing myths that might be holding you back. Get ready for some hard truths and game-changing insights. We're covering social media growth, SEO, paid ads, email marketing, and content strategies. So stick around because this is packed with actionable tips you can use today. Let's get started. Okay, let's dive into myth number 1. Marketing is just advertising. A lot of people think of marketing and immediately picture running ads, whether it's Facebook ads, Google search, Instagram, or TV commercials. But here's the truth. Marketing is so much more than just running ads. Advertising is just one part of a much bigger picture. Think about marketing like a puzzle, and while advertising might be one of the pieces, it's far from the whole picture. Marketing is about understanding your audience, building relationships, creating value, and positioning your brand in a way that makes people actually want to engage with it, not just buy from it. Now, one way to think about marketing beyond just ads is by looking at something called the 7 Ps of marketing. These are the 7 key elements that make up a successful marketing strategy, and it's important to understand them because they show how wide-reaching marketing actually is. So let's break them down. First, there's product. This is the heart of your business, whether it's a physical product, a service, or something digital. Your marketing will only be successful if your product solves a problem or meets a need for your audience. It's not just about selling something, it's about showing how your product makes people's lives better. Then comes price. This is the amount your customers will pay for your product or service. But pricing is so much more than just slapping a number on it. It's about understanding what your target audience is willing to pay based on the value they think they'll receive. And it's also about competitive pricing. So it's important that your pricing aligns with the market and the value you provide. Next is place, where and how your product is made available to customers. This could mean a physical location, an online store, or even a pop-up shop. Your marketing strategy will work a lot better if your product is easily accessible to your target audience. You need to ensure your product is where they are, whether that's in person or online. Promotion is what people often think about when they hear marketing. And yes, it includes advertising, but it's not just about throwing up an ad. Promotion is about raising awareness of your brand, engaging people, and getting your message across in a way that builds trust. Effective promotion combines things like content marketing, public relations, social media, and more. Now, here's something a lot of people forget about: people. Your marketing doesn't just involve your customers, it also includes your employees, partners, and anyone else who interacts with your brand. Your team needs to be on board with your marketing goals, and your customers need to feel like they're being heard and valued. Building relationships with people, whether they're customers or employees, should always be part of your strategy. Next is process. This is about the systems and procedures that ensure your product gets into customers' hands. It's how easy it is for them to interact with your business, make a purchase, and have their needs met. Whether it's a seamless online checkout or great customer service, the process is critical to making your marketing work. And finally, we have physical evidence. This is all about the tangible aspects of your brand: your website design, the packaging of your products, the experience people have when they walk into your store. These are all part of your marketing. Physical evidence helps create trust and confidence in your brand, which is essential when people are deciding whether or not to buy from you. When you look at marketing through the lens of the 7 Ps, you see that it's a multifaceted approach. Advertising is just one element of the promotion P, which in turn is just one of the 7 factors that make up the full picture. Successful marketing involves understanding and balancing all these elements. When businesses focus only on running ads and ignore the other 6 Ps, they miss out on opportunities for deeper customer relationships, long-term loyalty, and sustainable growth. So, to clarify, while advertising plays an important role in marketing, it's far from the only strategy you need to think about. Marketing is about creating an entire experience around your product or service, one that resonates with your target audience and builds lasting relationships. When you incorporate the 7 Ps into your approach, you'll find your marketing efforts become much more effective and holistic. Our next myth is that marketing is only for big businesses. If you run a small business, you might think marketing is something only big companies need to worry about. After all, they have big budgets and massive teams. But here's the truth. Every business, big or small, needs marketing to grow. And for small businesses, it's actually even more crucial. Small businesses are often competing against bigger, more established brands. The right marketing strategy can level the playing field, and it's not about having a huge budget. It's about being strategic with the resources you have. Smart marketing helps you reach the right people and turn them into loyal customers, even if you're running the business solo. Take content marketing, for example. Small businesses can create engaging blog posts, educational videos, or share insights on social media without spending a dime on ads. It's about showcasing your expertise, building trust, and providing value to your audience. This is a great way to connect with people and stand out. Social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are powerful tools for small businesses. With a little creativity, you can engage with your audience, build a community, and showcase what you offer. Small businesses often have the advantage of creating authentic, personal connections on these platforms, something big companies can struggle with. Email marketing is another low-cost tool that can help you nurture relationships with customers and encourage repeat business. By building an email list, you can send targeted messages, special offers, or valuable content directly to interested customers. This strategy offers a high return on investment and helps maintain long-term connections. Your website also plays a key role. It's your virtual storefront. A well-designed, user-friendly site can attract potential customers and make a lasting impression. It's a relatively low-cost way to showcase what you do and explain how you can help people. Ultimately, whether you're a local bakery, freelance designer, or service-based business, marketing is essential. It's about using your unique strengths to reach the right audience, build trust, and grow your brand in a way that works for your business. Small businesses may not have big budgets, but they have the advantage of creativity, agility, and the ability to connect personally with customers. Embrace marketing and use it to help your business thrive. A common myth that many businesses believe is that marketing is only necessary when you're launching a new product or running a big sale. The truth is that marketing shouldn't be limited to specific moments like product launches or sales periods. In fact, consistent marketing throughout the year is key to building and maintaining long-term customer relationships, brand awareness, and ongoing sales. Let's break this down. It's easy to think that the big push happens when you're unveiling something new or offering a discount. After all, you want to create urgency and excitement, right? While those moments are important, they should only be part of your marketing strategy, not the whole picture. If you're only marketing during product launches or sales periods, you're missing out on building the kind of connection that keeps customers coming back long after the sale is over. Here's why marketing should be consistent and continuous. First, consistency builds trust. When your audience sees regular, valuable content from you, they begin to trust your brand. Trust leads to loyalty. A customer who knows, likes, and trusts your brand is more likely to return, even if there's no sale happening. They start to recognize your brand, not just as a business trying to make a sale, but as a valuable resource they can rely on. Think about it like this. If you only showed up when you had something to sell, your audience would start to see you as transactional. It would be like only hearing from a friend when they need something from you. Relationships are built on communication, not just on asking for something in return. Your marketing should nurture that relationship throughout the year, not just during the big moments. Second, marketing between sales periods helps you stay top of mind. It's all about staying visible. People forget about brands they don't hear from regularly. You can have an amazing product, but if your audience hasn't heard from you in months, they're more likely to forget about you when it comes time to make a purchase. Continuous marketing through social media, email campaigns, blogs, or videos keeps your brand in front of your customers so that when they're ready to buy, you're the first name they think of. Another important point is that marketing doesn't always need to be about selling. It can be about education, entertainment, or engagement. Even when you're not actively selling something, you can still provide value. Share industry insights, how-to guides, customer stories, or fun behind-the-scenes content. This kind of content strengthens the connection you have with your audience, making them more likely to choose you when they are in need of your product or service. The final reason why marketing shouldn't just be reserved for launches or sales periods is that market conditions and customer needs change over time. If you only market around product launches or sales, you're missing the opportunity to adjust your messaging based on current trends or customer feedback. Regular marketing gives you the flexibility to pivot and keep your messaging relevant. So while product launches and sales periods are definitely important and deserve a strong marketing push, they should not be the only times you invest in marketing. Consistent, ongoing marketing helps build lasting relationships, keeps your brand top of mind, and ensures that your audience feels connected to you beyond just the transaction. By nurturing your audience throughout the year, you'll build trust, loyalty, and ultimately, more sustainable success for your business. Remember, marketing is a long-term strategy, not just a short-term hustle. Myth 4 is that marketing results should be immediate. One of the most frustrating things about marketing is the expectation that it should deliver immediate results. We live in a world where we're used to instant gratification, whether it's fast food, same-day delivery, or quick responses on social media. So it's easy to think that when we put effort into our marketing, we should see instant results. But the truth is, marketing is a long-term game, and success doesn't happen overnight. Yes, some marketing strategies, like paid ads, can deliver quick results. If you run a Facebook or Google ad campaign, you'll likely see immediate traffic to your website or product page. But building brand awareness, trust, and organic reach takes time. You can't expect to post a few Instagram pictures and suddenly see a flood of new customers. Real success comes from consistency and persistence. When you first start marketing, you're essentially building relationships with your audience. This takes time. You're introducing your brand, educating your customers, and showing them why you're different. Even with social media, you may need to post regularly for months before you start seeing significant engagement or traffic. And remember, it's not just about the volume of activity. You need to analyze what's working, adjust your approach, and keep improving over time. If something's not resonating with your audience, try tweaking it. The businesses that see long-term success are the ones that stick with it, learn from their efforts, and keep refining their approach over time. So, don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Keep at it, stay consistent, and your marketing efforts will pay off in the long run. Our next myth is that marketing is just about selling. A lot of businesses approach marketing with one goal in mind: sell, sell, sell. The focus is purely on pushing products or services at every opportunity. But here's the reality. Marketing is not just about selling. If all you do is push sales, people will eventually tune you out. Think about your own experience. How many times have you come across brands that constantly promote their latest sale, product launch, or service without offering anything of real value? Probably more often than you'd like, right? And how often do you actually engage with those brands? Probably not much. This is a common pitfall businesses fall into. They think that constant sales promotions will drive customers, but in reality, this approach often leads to disengagement. People don't want to be bombarded with ads. They want value, connection, and engagement. The most effective marketing doesn't feel like marketing at all. Instead of constantly selling, it's about building relationships first. When you focus on nurturing connections, sales follow naturally. So, how do you build those relationships? Start by providing value without asking for anything in return. Share helpful content, educational posts, or inspiring stories. Don't always try to close the deal in every post or message. Share things that resonate with your audience's emotions and needs. When people feel like you understand them and are giving them something that enriches their lives, they're more likely to trust you and eventually buy from you. For example, a brand could share a story about how their product helped a customer achieve their goal, rather than just listing features or prices. That kind of content fosters trust and humanizes your brand. The more you engage with your audience in this way, the more likely they are to trust your business and ultimately purchase from you. So, the takeaway here is simple. Shift your mindset from selling to building relationships, and your marketing efforts will be far more effective in the long run. When people trust you and see you as a valuable resource, they will be much more likely to buy from you when the time comes. Myth number 6 is that branding is just about your logo. A lot of people think branding is just about having a great logo, a catchy slogan, and a color scheme that looks nice on a website or business card. But the truth is, branding goes far beyond visuals. It's much more than just your logo. It's how your customers feel when they interact with your business. Branding is your identity. It's your voice, your values, your mission, and the emotions you evoke in your customers. Think about brands like Apple, Nike, or Starbucks. Sure, their logos are iconic and instantly recognizable. But what really makes these brands successful is the experience and feeling they create. Apple isn't just selling tech products. They're selling innovation, simplicity, and a sense of being part of something cutting edge. Nike isn't just selling shoes. They're selling motivation, performance, and a mindset that empowers athletes. Starbucks doesn't just sell coffee. They're selling an experience, a sense of community, and a third place where people can relax and connect. So, how do you build a strong brand beyond just your logo? First, consistency is key. Your brand needs to have a consistent presence across all platforms, whether it's your website, social media, or customer service. Every touch point with your brand should feel like it's coming from the same place, with the same values and the same tone. Second, know who your audience is and speak directly to them. Your brand is not just about what you sell, it's about how you make people feel. By creating an emotional connection with your audience, you can build loyalty and trust that will outlast any trend or competition. People don't remember products, they remember stories. Craft a narrative around your brand that speaks to your mission, your challenges, your wins, and your customer's journey. When you tell a compelling story that aligns with the experiences and dreams of your target audience, you create a bond that goes beyond just transactions. That emotional tie makes people want to buy from you again and again. Your brand should reflect who you truly are, not just what you think people want to see. Authenticity is something customers can feel, and when they sense that you're genuine, they'll trust you more. If you try to be something you're not, it's easy to spot. The real power in branding comes from staying true to your values, your mission, and your purpose, because that authenticity builds credibility. Building a brand that goes beyond your logo isn't just a nice to have, it's a must. Because at the end of the day, branding is about creating meaningful, emotional connections that turn one-time buyers into loyal fans. When your customers feel a connection to your brand that's deeper than the transaction, they become your strongest advocates, helping to grow your business far beyond any marketing campaign. So, remember, your logo is just the beginning. The power of your brand comes from how it makes people feel, how it aligns with their values, and how it creates experiences that they remember and connect with. That's how you build a brand that lasts. If your brand resonates on a deeper level, your customers will become advocates who share their positive experiences with others, which ultimately strengthens your business. Our next myth is the common belief that if you create a great product or service, customers will just naturally find it. This myth often gets summed up with the saying, "If you build it, they will come." It sounds nice, right? Like if you just put your heart and soul into your product, people will flock to you. But here's the thing. The truth is, no matter how amazing your product is, it won't sell if people don't know it exists. Marketing is what creates the awareness and demand that make sales possible. You can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going anywhere. Even the most successful companies in the world, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, they still invest millions into marketing to keep their brands front and center. So why would a small business or startup be any different? It's a tough pill to swallow, but you can't just launch your product and hope for the best. You have to put in the effort to get the word out. That means consistently working to build your audience, whether through content marketing, social media, email marketing, or paid ads. It's all about being visible and getting in front of the right people. So, what does this look like practically? It could mean creating blog posts that showcase how your product solves problems. Maybe it's about building an email list so you can nurture relationships with potential customers. Or it could involve using social media to not just push your product, but also engage with your audience and show them why your product adds value to their lives. The key takeaway here is that marketing is the bridge between your product and your customers. And without it, people won't even know what you're offering. But here's where it gets interesting. Marketing doesn't just drive awareness. It builds a deeper connection between your product and your audience. When you invest in strategic marketing, you're not just telling people that your product exists. You're showing them why they need it. You're creating an emotional connection that goes beyond the transaction. It's easy to think of marketing as simply pushing out ads or posting on social media, but when done right, marketing becomes a powerful tool for storytelling. Think about the brands you love. They don't just sell you products. They sell you a story, an experience, a lifestyle that resonates with you. For example, Nike isn't just pushing shoes. They're selling a mentality of empowerment, perseverance, and achievement. Apple isn't just selling devices. They're selling creativity, innovation, and simplicity. They're using marketing not just to get attention, but to shape perceptions and build loyalty. So, what's the secret? It's consistency and authenticity. You need to consistently show up where your audience is, and you need to do it in a way that feels authentic to your brand. Whether through storytelling, customer testimonials, behind-the-scenes content, or educational resources, your marketing should reflect who you are and what you stand for. This is what makes people trust your brand, feel connected to it, and ultimately become loyal customers. And let's not forget the importance of feedback loops in your marketing efforts. Marketing isn't just a one-way street where you tell customers what you think they want to hear. It's an ongoing conversation. Pay attention to the feedback your audience gives you. Are they responding to your content? What questions are they asking? What do they love about your product? And where can you improve? These insights will help you fine-tune your approach, ensuring that your marketing efforts evolve and remain relevant over time. In the end, marketing is about creating opportunities. It's about opening doors for your audience to find you, engage with you, and eventually trust you enough to make a purchase. It's not a quick fix, but rather a long-term strategy that, when done right, will create a sustainable flow of customers who value your product for what it truly offers. So don't just hope that they'll come, make it happen. One of the biggest misconceptions in marketing is that you need to have a massive budget to make an impact. This is another myth that really holds a lot of people back. The idea that you need a massive marketing budget to be successful can feel overwhelming, especially for small businesses. We see big companies spending millions on ads, hiring influencers, and running large campaigns. So, it's easy to think, I don't have that kind of budget. There's no way I can compete. But here's the truth. Creativity and strategy can often beat a huge budget. You don't have to spend a fortune to get results. Sure, having a bigger budget can give you more opportunities to run ads, do influencer partnerships, and hire top-tier talent. But when you get creative and think strategically, you can still make a huge impact without spending tons of money. There are countless examples of businesses that have grown successfully by focusing on organic marketing. They create valuable content, engage with their audience, and build relationships. One great example is brands that focus on storytelling. People connect with stories more than they connect with traditional advertising. Sharing your brand's story, why it started, the challenges you faced, and the impact you're making helps humanize your business and can build deeper relationships with your audience. Another powerful tool that doesn't require a big budget is community engagement. Respond to comments, start conversations, ask your audience questions, and make them feel like they're part of something. This kind of authentic interaction doesn't cost a thing, but it can build a loyal following. So rather than focusing on how much money you need to spend, think about how you can leverage your strengths. Can you create educational content that's valuable to your audience? Can you partner with other businesses in your space for cross-promotion? Can you engage with your followers in a way that builds trust and loyalty? Marketing doesn't always need a huge budget. It just requires smart thinking and a willingness to connect with your audience in meaningful ways. Myth number 9 is that your competitors are your enemies. This one can be a bit tricky, right? We've all been taught to view competition as something to beat. You're trying to rise to the top, and the last thing you want is to help someone who's competing with you. But the truth is, competitors don't have to be your enemies. In fact, competition can be a really good thing for your business. The fact that there are competitors in your space means there's a demand for what you offer. It means people are looking for solutions, and there's room for more than one business to succeed. But here's where it gets interesting. You don't have to view competitors as a threat. Instead, consider how you can collaborate or learn from them. Some of the best collaborations come from businesses that serve the same audience, but aren't necessarily in direct competition. For example, a fitness coach might partner with a healthy food delivery service. Neither one is directly competing with the other, but together, they're offering a well-rounded solution for their shared audience. This kind of partnership can help you both reach new customers and expand your reach. And even if you are in direct competition, remember, competition keeps you sharp. It forces you to innovate, improve your offerings, and stay on your toes. You have to keep improving because your competitors are likely doing the same. It's a healthy push that keeps you from getting complacent. So instead of fearing your competitors, start thinking about how you can differentiate yourself from them and maybe even work together. There's plenty of room for everyone, and often, collaboration leads to greater growth for all parties involved. Our next myth is a big one, the belief that a great product will sell itself. It's a nice idea, right? You create something truly amazing, and people just magically start buying it because, well, it's that good. But in reality, that's just not how it works. Think about it. How many incredible products or businesses have you never heard of? Probably a lot. And that's exactly the point. If people don't know your product exists, or they don't fully understand how it solves their problem, then it doesn't matter how great it is. It won't sell. Even the biggest, most well-known brands don't rely on their products selling themselves. Take Apple, for example. Everyone knows who they are. People recognize their logo instantly. And yet, they still spend millions, probably billions, on marketing every single year. Why? Because visibility matters. Staying top of mind matters. So, what does that mean for you? It means that having a great product is just step one. Step two, the part that actually gets sales, is connecting that product to the right audience. And how do you do that? Through marketing. Marketing is the bridge between your product and your customers. It's what helps people see the value in what you're offering. It's what explains why they need it, how it will improve their lives, and why they should choose you over the competition. Without that, even the best product in the world will struggle to gain traction. Now, this doesn't mean you have to throw huge amounts of money into advertising, but it does mean you need a strategy, whether that's through social media, content marketing, email campaigns, influencer partnerships, or whatever makes sense for your business. The bottom line, a great product plus great marketing is what leads to success. So don't just sit back and wait for people to find you. Go out there, promote it, and make sure your audience knows exactly why they need what you're offering. That's how you turn a great idea into a thriving business. Something that a lot of people get wrong about marketing is the idea that it's only about getting new customers. A lot of people think marketing is all about bringing in new customers, running ads, chasing leads, and constantly trying to expand their audience. And while attracting new people is important, focusing only on acquisition while ignoring the customers you already have is one of the biggest mistakes a business can make. The truth is, keeping existing customers is far more cost-effective and profitable than always trying to win over new ones. Studies show that acquiring a new customer can cost 5 to 7 times more than retaining an existing one. And beyond that, repeat customers tend to spend more, buy more often, and require less convincing because they already know, like, and trust your brand. Think about your own habits. When you find a company you love, whether it's a coffee shop, a skincare brand, or a service provider, you're way more likely to go back to them rather than take a gamble on someone new. You don't have to be sold on the experience again because you already know what to expect. And if they continue to provide value, you're probably even willing to spend more over time. That's why customer retention is just as important as customer acquisition. A loyal customer isn't just someone who buys from you again. They're someone who becomes an advocate for your brand. They tell their friends, leave positive reviews, and spread the word for you in ways that even the best marketing campaign can't replicate. That kind of organic word of mouth is priceless. But here's the catch. Customer loyalty doesn't just happen, it has to be nurtured. If a business treats every sale like a one-and-done transaction and doesn't put any effort into keeping customers engaged, those customers will eventually drift away. On the other hand, companies that prioritize retention see higher lifetime value per customer, better brand reputation, and a stronger community. So how do you build customer loyalty? It starts with staying engaged. Things like personalized email, sequences, exclusive loyalty programs, and special offers for repeat buyers can make customers feel valued. Even something as simple as providing ongoing, high-quality content, whether it's helpful tips, behind-the-scenes updates, or just continuing the conversation after the purchase, keeps your brand top of mind. At the end of the day, marketing isn't just about chasing new people. It's about building real relationships. The most successful brands aren't the ones constantly trying to fill the funnel. They're the ones who take care of the customers they already have. Because when you invest in retention, you're not just keeping customers, you're creating lifelong fans. Myth number 12 is the idea that the more hashtags a post has, the more reach you will get. A lot of people assume that if they just load up their posts with tons of hashtags, they'll automatically get more reach. The thinking is, the more hashtags you use, the more chances your post has to show up in different feeds. But the truth is, hashtag strategy is more about quality than quantity. Platforms like TikTok have evolved in how they use hashtags. Their algorithms now favor relevant, targeted hashtags. So, using 30 random hashtags isn't going to help if they aren't directly related to your content or audience. In fact, overloading your posts with hashtags can sometimes make them look spammy and even hurt your engagement. People can tell when you're just throwing in hashtags for the sake of it, and platforms are getting better at recognizing that too. Going one step further, Instagram in particular, is moving away from relying on hashtags at all. In fact, some of their recent updates show that they're weeding out hashtags altogether in favor of a stronger focus on keywords organically placed in your caption. Instead of loading your posts with a list of hashtags, Instagram's algorithm now prioritizes captions that naturally include relevant keywords related to your content. It's all about making your posts more authentic and aligned with what users are actually searching for. This doesn't mean hashtags are useless for every platform, but they are no longer the sole focus. The better approach now is to use a mix of broad and niche hashtags, those that genuinely fit your audience and your content. But don't stop there. Think about what your ideal customer is actually searching for. Instead of using a very broad hashtag like hashtags marketing, try something more specific like hashtag content strategy or hashtag small business marketing. Those are more likely to attract the people who are genuinely interested in what you're offering. So, when you're planning your posts, focus on creating relevant, keyword-rich captions that speak directly to your audience. Make sure your hashtags still fit, but don't let them overshadow the importance of crafting high-quality content with organic keywords. That's the sweet spot for better reach and more meaningful engagement. Our next myth is that negative feedback is always a bad thing, whether it's a complaint, a bad review, or a critical comment on social media. Nobody likes receiving negative feedback. It can sting, and it's easy to take it personally. But here's the truth. Negative feedback can actually be a huge opportunity for growth. First, it's important to recognize that not all negative feedback is bad feedback. In fact, some of it can be incredibly helpful. A customer might raise a legitimate concern about your product or service. And if you listen carefully and address it, that person can become one of your most loyal supporters. When you handle feedback with professionalism, empathy, and a solution-oriented approach, it shows your audience that you're committed to improving and that you care about their experience. But let's be honest, there will always be trolls or people who just want to complain for the sake of complaining. And that's okay. What matters is how you respond to it. Instead of fearing negative comments or letting them drag you down, see them as a chance to improve your brand's reputation. A well-handled response, whether it's an apology, an explanation, or a solution, can actually strengthen your brand's integrity and build trust with your audience. For example, a customer might comment on your social media that they didn't receive their order on time. Rather than ignoring the comment or getting defensive, you can respond promptly with an apology, an explanation about what went wrong, and a promise to make it right. If you offer a discount or free shipping on their next order, you're turning a potential negative into a positive experience. That customer is much more likely to return and share their positive experience with others, especially if they see that you genuinely care. Handling criticism well not only helps you solve problems, but can also create a bond with your audience. People appreciate transparency, authenticity, and a brand that is willing to admit when things don't go as planned. So the next time you get negative feedback, take a deep breath, assess the situation, and see how you can turn it into an opportunity to demonstrate the strength of your brand. Now, let's talk about a myth that a lot of businesses fall for when they're just starting out: the idea that social media marketing is completely free. Sure, creating an account on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok doesn't cost anything, and you can post content without paying a dime. So it might seem like an easy, no-cost way to market your business. But here's the reality. Successful social media marketing almost always requires some level of investment. Let's break it down. Yes, you can technically post on social media without spending a cent, but here's the catch. Organic reach is more limited than ever. Social media platforms are constantly changing their algorithms, and today's algorithms are designed to prioritize content that keeps users engaged. If you want to get seen, you need to compete with millions of other pieces of content on the platform, which can be incredibly difficult without a budget. For example, if you're looking to schedule posts consistently, you'll probably need to invest in scheduling and analytics tools like Sprout Social, which aren't free. If you want your posts to look professional, you'll need access to graphic design, software, or video editing tools like Canva or Adobe Suite, which require a subscription. Even if you don't do it yourself, hiring someone to manage your account or create content can be an investment. But the real game changer in social media marketing is paid advertising. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok offer sophisticated ad systems that can target the exact audience you want to reach. With the right budget and a well-thought-out strategy, paid ads can significantly accelerate your growth. For instance, running a targeted ad campaign on Facebook might cost you a few $100s, but it can bring in thousands of dollars in return if it's done right. So, while social media marketing isn't technically free, it doesn't have to be expensive either. What's important is understanding that to achieve consistent, meaningful growth on these platforms, a strategic investment, whether in tools, ads, or expertise, will go a long way in making your efforts more effective and sustainable. Here's a myth that has led many businesses down the wrong path: the belief that the more followers you have, the more successful you'll be. Follower count has always been seen as a major indicator of success. But here's the truth: having a massive following doesn't automatically equate to success. In fact, it's far more important to focus on engagement than on simply increasing your numbers. Let's think about it. Sure, it's nice to have 100,000 followers, but if only a small percentage of those followers are actually engaging with your content, what's the point? Engagement is what really matters. You can have thousands of followers, but if they're not commenting, liking, or sharing your posts, they're not contributing to your bottom line. A small, highly engaged audience is far more valuable than a huge audience that barely interacts with your content. So, how do you build that kind of audience? The key is to focus on building relationships with the people who are already following you. Respond to their comments, ask for their opinions, create content that sparks conversations, and make them feel like they're part of your community. Ask questions that encourage discussion, like polls or open-ended prompts, and show appreciation for their input. you'll find that the more you engage with your audience, the more they'll engage with you in return. Think about it this way. Imagine having 500 followers, but they're all genuinely interested in your product or service. They share your posts with their friends, they comment on your updates, and they make purchases. That 500-person audience can be far more profitable than 10,000 followers who aren't interacting with your content at all. Plus, loyal followers are much more likely to refer others to your business and help grow your audience through word of mouth. So, instead of obsessing over the number of followers you have, focus on creating valuable, engaging content that resonates with your existing audience. Engage with them, build those relationships, and you'll see your business succeed, whether you have 500 followers or 50,000. Our next myth is that you need to be on every social media platform. It's tempting to think you need to be everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. The list goes on. And it makes sense, right? More platforms should mean more visibility, more chances for people to discover you. But here's the truth. Trying to be everywhere at once can actually hurt your brand more than it helps. Why? Because when you spread yourself too thin, your content suffers. Instead of delivering high-quality, intentional messaging, you're just scrambling to post anything, just to stay active. And that's not a strategy. Let's be real. Keeping up with multiple platforms is exhausting. Each one has its own audience, its own content style, its own algorithm. Works on Instagram doesn't always work on LinkedIn. TikTok thrives on quick, engaging videos, while Twitter is more about real-time conversations. Trying to master all of them, it's overwhelming. And if you don't have a full-time marketing team, forget it. The good news, you don't need to be on every platform to be successful. The key isn't being everywhere, it's being intentional. Instead of spreading yourself thin, ask yourself, where is my audience actually spending their time? What platforms align best with my brand's strengths? Where am I seeing the most engagement and results? If your ideal customers are on Instagram and LinkedIn, focus your energy there. You're better off going all in on 2 or 3 platforms than half showing up on 6. Here's another thing. When you're on too many platforms, your content starts to feel generic. You might be posting the same thing everywhere without really tailoring it to each audience. And that's a problem because each platform has a different culture. A post that works on Instagram might not make sense on LinkedIn. And let's not forget engagement. Social media isn't just about posting. It's about interaction. If you're too busy juggling multiple accounts, you might not have time to respond to comments, messages, or engage with your community. And if you're not engaging, you're not really building a presence. So how do you know where to focus? Here's a simple way to figure it out. Know your audience. Where do they actually hang out? If you're targeting professionals, LinkedIn is key. If you have a younger audience, TikTok or Instagram might be better. Play to your strengths. What kind of content do you enjoy creating? If you love video, YouTube or TikTok could be a great fit. If writing is more your thing, maybe LinkedIn or a blog is the way to go. Look at your analytics. If you've been posting on multiple platforms, check your numbers. Where are you getting the most engagement? What's actually working? Lean into that. At the end of the day, a strong social media presence isn't about being everywhere. It's about showing up in the right places and showing up well. So instead of trying to be on 6 different platforms and doing none of them well, choose 2 or 3 that actually make sense for you and go all in. Your audience will appreciate the consistency. Your content will be stronger and your brand will be better for it. Myth 17 is that posting at the perfect time is crucial for social media success. We've all heard the advice, post at 9 a.m. for the best engagement, or The algorithm loves lunchtime posts. And sure, timing can play a role in your content's performance. But here's the truth. It's nowhere near as important as consistency and quality. Think about it. When was the last time you saw an amazing post and thought, wow, I love this? But too bad it wasn't posted at exactly 10:30 a.m.? Probably never. Because the reality is people engage with content because it resonates with them, not because it was posted at some so-called optimal time. Social media algorithms are smarter than we give them credit for. Their main goal? Keeping users on the platform. And what does that? High quality, engaging content. A post that sparks conversation, encourages shares, and keeps people interested will continue to be pushed by the algorithm, whether it was posted at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. On the flip side, a post that doesn't grab attention won't magically perform better just because it was posted at a specific time. That's why some posts take off hours or even days after they go live. If people engage with them, the algorithm keeps pushing them into more feeds. So instead of obsessing over timing, focus on what really matters, making your content valuable and engaging. If you want better engagement, shift your focus from when you post to what you post. Here's what actually makes a difference. Quality over quantity. One well-thought-out post will outperform 5 rushed ones. Consistency matters. Showing up regularly builds trust and keeps you top of mind. Engagement breeds engagement. Responding to comments and interacting with your audience encourages more visibility. Storytelling wins. People connect with emotions and narratives, not just polished graphics or perfect captions. At the end of the day, your audience will find your content if it's worth their time. A truly valuable post, one that educates, entertains, or inspires, will always perform better than one that was simply timed correctly. So instead of stressing over when to post, put your energy where it counts, creating content that makes people stop, think, and engage. Because when your audience loves what you're sharing, they'll make sure to see it, no matter when you hit publish. Myth number 18. The more content you post, the most successful you'll be. A lot of people assume that if they just keep churning out posts, videos, or blogs, their audience will grow and engagement will skyrocket. They think, if I post every day, or even multiple times a day, surely something will take off, right? But here's the hard truth. Quantity without quality is a waste of time. Sure, posting frequently might make you feel productive. It might even make your feed look busy and active. But if your content lacks value, strategy, or engagement, it won't get the results you want. Posting just for the sake of posting doesn't build a loyal audience. It just fills up space. Think about it. When was the last time you followed someone just because they posted a lot? Probably never. People follow and engage with content because it resonates with them, teaches them something, entertains them, or sparks emotion. A few well-thought-out, high-quality posts each week will outperform daily posts that don't provide real value. Why? Because valuable content gets shared, saved, and engaged with. The algorithm picks up on that and pushes it to more people. On the other hand, low-quality filler content, it gets ignored. And over time, that can actually hurt your engagement rate. Instead of focusing on how often you post, focus on how valuable your content is. Before hitting publish, ask yourself, is this helpful? Does it solve a problem or provide useful information? Is this entertaining? Will it make people laugh, think, or feel something? Is this inspiring? Does it motivate or encourage action? If the answer is no to all three, skip it. It's better to post nothing than to post something that doesn't add value. Rather than pumping out content just to stay active, focus on creating content that actually matters. That means taking time to to craft posts that your audience actually wants to see. Prioritizing engagement by responding to comments, starting conversations, and building relationships, and being intentional with your messaging instead of just filling up your content calendar. Remember, it's not about how much content you post, it's about how much impact it makes. So post less if you need to. Just make sure when you do post, it's something worth engaging with. A common myth we hear is that you need huge influencers to succeed. Influencer marketing can be a great strategy, but here's the truth. You don't need a celebrity or a big-name influencer to make an impact. A lot of businesses assume that if they can just get a well-known influencer to mention them, their sales will skyrocket. And sure, a high-profile endorsement can get you a spike in attention, but attention doesn't always translate to long-term success. The reality is that smaller, more targeted audiences often convert better. Why? Because people trust recommendations from those they have a real connection with. Micro-influencers, those with smaller but highly engaged followings, tend to have stronger relationships with their audience. Their followers see them as authentic, relatable, and trustworthy. Think about it. If a massive influencer with millions of followers briefly mentions your brand in a sponsored post, it might get likes, but will those people actually become customers? On the other hand, if a niche micro-influencer who has built real trust with their audience genuinely recommends your product, their followers are much more likely to take action. Instead of relying on influencers, ask yourself, how can I position myself as an authority in my space? You don't have to wait for someone else to give you credibility. You can create it yourself. You can do this by showing up consistently and posting content that showcases your expertise and insights. Provide value by educating, entertaining, or inspiring your audience, so they keep coming back. Engage meaningfully with your audience by responding to comments, starting conversations, and building real relationships. And lastly, be authentic by sharing real stories, not just sales pitches. Sure, influencer marketing can work, but it's not a magic bullet. If you're serious about growing your brand, your focus should be on building trust and authority over time. When you consistently show up and create valuable content, you won't need a big influencer to vouch for you. Your audience will already trust you on their own. At the end of the day, the most powerful influence comes from authenticity, credibility, and connection, not just a name with a big following. So, rather than chasing influencer shoutouts, start positioning yourself as the go-to expert in your space. Because when you build real trust, people won't just follow you, they'll buy from you. Our final myth for today is that viral marketing is the goal. We've all seen it happen. An unknown brand or influencer blows up overnight with a viral post, racking up millions of views, likes, and shares. And suddenly, it feels like everyone is talking about them. It's tempting to think, if I can just go viral, my brand will explode too. But here's the truth. Virality is unpredictable, and it's not a strategy you can rely on. Sure, a viral moment might get you a flood of attention, but unless you have a solid plan to turn that attention into something lasting, it's just that, a moment, a short-term spike that fades just as quickly as it came. Plenty of businesses have had one post hit millions of views, but it didn't translate into real, long-term success. Why? Because they weren't prepared to capitalize on it. A small business might see a huge rush of traffic to their website, but if they don't have a way to capture leads or nurture relationships, those visitors come and go. An influencer might gain thousands of followers overnight, but if they don't have a strategy to keep people engaged, that audience will lose interest just as fast. Even brands that sell out of a product after a viral post can find themselves struggling if they weren't prepared for demand, leaving them with frustrated customers and a missed opportunity. The real key to growth isn't luck, it's consistency. It's showing up regularly, creating content that actually matters, and building real connections with your audience. It's about having systems in place so that if you do go viral, you're not scrambling to figure out what to do next. You're ready to turn that moment into long-term momentum. Because here's the thing, when you focus on providing value, when you build an engaged community, and when you create content that truly resonates, you don't need a viral moment to succeed. Slow, steady, strategic growth will always outperform random, fleeting attention. And if you happen to have a post take off, you'll be in the perfect position to make the most of it. That's 20 huge marketing myths busted. Hopefully this clears up some misconceptions and helps you market smarter. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow AMZG Agency for the latest marketing trends and insights.